Good morning. It's a great pleasure for me to be with all of you today, and I want to start by thanking Nile University of Nigeria for giving me the opportunity to join this impressive panel of speakers. And I'm just delighted to share with you a few thoughts. You heard a little bit about my background, which I think is important so that you have context of why I'm going to be sharing with all of you a few ideas that I hope will spark maybe some action for yourself, for your own career. And if, again, one idea strikes your heart and your mind, it will be all worth it, okay? I will tell you that what I'm about to share with you is not based on any scientific research or some fancy survey or anything like that. This is just the result of 35 years of professional career working around the world. I've been very, very fortunate to work with international companies. I got to work in over 70 different countries. And these lessons of experience is what I'm going to try to summarize in 4 ideas for you today, okay? So the purpose and the focus of my presentation is about investing in yourself. It's about your professional development. And what precipitated this thought is because over the years I've observed, and sometimes made me sad, to see a lot of former colleagues that took a very passive attitude towards their professional development and basically delegated that responsibility to their managers, okay? And I couldn't understand why. It's an aspect that I hope that all of you think and take control. Don't let anybody take over this piece. So idea number 1 is about training. Most people immediately, when you talk about professional development, you think training, right? I don't like that word, and I'll tell you why. Training, typically, when you talk to an employee, a colleague about training, it almost feels like you're prescribing medicine. You need to take your vitamins. And the person thinks about, okay, good, I'm going to have to take this class. And maybe, I'm missing this skill. I need to develop a competency. That's a problem. I need to do something. And if I don't take action, it could have negative consequences down the road. So that's kind of things that go in the back of people's minds. When you talk about managers, it also has some negative connotations. When you talk to a manager about, this person needs to go to this class and we need to make some investment, what is the first thing that comes in the person's mind? Budget. Oh, wait a second. Do I have the money to pay for that? How much is that going to cost? Oh, and how many days is this person going to be outside of the office? Is the travel involved? Oh, geez, that's going to cost more money. Can we push it till next quarter? Should we wait until next year? These are things that run in the back of, sometimes, in managers' mind. So I'm proposing to all of you, let's agree that we're going to stop using the word training. Let's stop using the T word and replace it with professional development, which I believe is the right language that we need to use to address this career development, personal and professional growth. Okay, that's idea number 1. Idea number 2 is that you need to own it. Don't delegate the responsibility to a manager or supervisor. You need to drive it. You are at the driver's seat, and you need to actively and methodically plan your career. Spend time thinking about how to go about it. And it is very personal, and I'm going to talk to you in just 1 second of why you can't delegate it. But that's idea number 2. Own it. Idea number 3 is that typically professional development is very, interpreted and thought about it in very narrow terms. And what I'm proposing to you today is that you look at a very broad spectrum of ways to groom you professionally. And I suggest that you think about 5 different pillars of your professional development. Pillar number 1 is what we just talked about, formal education, structured training and a structured education experience. It could be in the form of a degree, it could be a certificate, it could be getting a license, it could be anything that is in a classroom-based environment. No problem. Number 1. Pillar number 2, often forgotten about it, is the on-the-job experiential learning. This is an incredible opportunity, great potential. People forget about it, but in any organization, whether you're at school, whether you're working in a company, this is a great platform to get involved in cross-functional projects, getting involved with other colleagues that are in different functional areas. Practically every project, every organization has annual initiatives, strategic initiatives that will involve IT, finance, operations, marketing, and sometimes also in my past, I've encountered people and you say, why don't you sign up for this? Why don't you volunteer for that? And the answer is, well, you know, I'm busy enough. I've had enough. The last thing I need is more meetings, more activity. Leave me alone. I'm okay. But what I'm suggesting and inviting to all of you is to raise your hand, volunteer, because you will be amazed of the amount of learning and personal and professional development you'll get out of doing something like that. Pillar number 3 of professional development is coaching and mentoring. Coaching typically happens later in your career, midpoints, and senior levels. Companies put together coaching plans to get some people ready for a promotion, for a move, for an expansion of responsibilities. But mentoring, you can start anytime. You can start today. Just show of hands. Raise your hand if you have today a formal mentor or formal mentor relationship with somebody. Maybe a former teacher, maybe someone you know in your family, maybe a manager or someone that you admire. Anybody, raise your hand real high so I can see. We have quite a bit. That's great. For the rest of you, I'm going to give you a challenge that before the end of this month, that you identify someone that you trust, that you respect, that you admire, and you reach out to them and ask them if they would be willing to be your mentor. And I will tell you, this is an incredible, powerful relationship that you're going to establish with this person. It's mutually rewarding, and it's extremely, extremely valuable. And it costs nothing. It's simply having a sounding board, an advisor. It's phenomenal. I can tell you, after all these years, I have 4 mentors that I talk on a regular basis. And I can't tell you how valuable they have been throughout my career. So, next, pillar number 4, which very rarely you see, particularly in textbooks. The 4th pillar is wellness. Wellness and well-being. I'm sure you have heard this Latin expression, mens sana in corpore sano, which means healthy mind in a healthy body. This is why I was saying before, this is something you cannot delegate. You own it and you drive it. This is something, nobody is going to tell you how much sleep you need or what kind of nutrition. Maybe your doctor could tell you what kind of nutrition for your metabolism. Maybe, your doctor can tell you how much exercise you need or would be good for you. But one thing that you know better than anybody is that you don't want to be lethargic or tired. You need to be mentally sharp. You need to be physically fit so that you can be productive, you can be active and energetic. And by the way, mental health is also a very personal thing. Some people use, meditation, practice yoga, sports, practicing, playing musical instruments, whatever helps you keep your mind sharp, rejuvenated, and energized. But this is an area that you have to personally drive, okay? The fifth pillar is what I would describe as personal-driven learning. So this is almost like an other big bucket of activities that don't fall into any specific category, but are extremely important, and usually, same thing, don't cost anything. It's simply making a decision that you're going to invest time in this. Examples, reading. People don't think about, methodical planning of your reading. I love reading. I happen to just love books. And for example, in the last couple of years, I've invested a lot of time reading biographies of African leaders. And I've learned a lot about their countries, the history, the politics, why the certain countries are where they are right now. It provides me with incredible context, especially in my job as the universities grows, and we're thinking about expanding in other countries. It is extremely valuable to have that knowledge. But you can do the same thing. Maybe you love technology. And right now, there's a lot of publications, for example, in artificial intelligence. But you have to do methodical planning and invest time and say, I'm going to spend time reading and learning about this whatever topic. Another one that also people don't think about it, maybe many of you speak a second language. Why not learning a third language? I'm telling you, it's another thing. I have loved learning languages. I started in high school. I grew up in Spain, so I'm native Spanish speaker. But I started in high school learning English, French, and German. And to this date, every single evening after I finish dinner, I spend 20, 25 minutes with my app, my phone, practicing. If you don't practice, you learn the language skills. But it's something that, again, doesn't cost any money, but you have to make the decision that you're going to invest in this. Another category in this self-driven learning, when you have the opportunity to travel, visit other countries, don't be just a visitor. Plan your trip. Learn about the culture, the business practices, the food, the politics. All of that is going to enhance your experience when you go to a different country. And I will tell you, since 1996, when I started traveling a lot internationally, I began writing a travel journal. Now I have 20 notebooks of reflections, observations of all of the countries where I've done business that have helped me enjoy and appreciate the uniqueness of every country and every culture that I encounter. So that's another area of development. Anyway, you get the point. So this was the fourth idea I wanted to share. And the last one, to wrap up, I wanted to invite you to become a lifelong learner. Embrace that idea. We never get done learning. And I will tell you, I'll give you a personal example. My mom, when she turned 90, and we asked her, what would you like for your birthday? Anything special that you would like us to give you? And she said, you know what? My entire life, I always wanted to learn how to play the piano. So my siblings, my brothers and sisters and I decided to buy her a keyboard. And my daughter actually is a music teacher. So for the past 2 years, she has been taking piano lessons every Saturday. And to me, certainly I hope that I get to live that long, and I hope that when I get to that age, I will be still interested in learning. And she continues, by the way. So that's phenomenal. Anyway, to wrap up, One, remember, don't use training, use professional development. Number two, own your professional development. Number three, look at professional development with this broad spectrum of these 5 different pillars. And lastly, make sure that you commit to a lifelong learning experience so that you have a rich and successful life. Thank you very much.